Hello and welcome. In this episode, we're going to be going over my top 3 methods of making money online. The very first method that we're going to be going over is my dropshipping on eBay method. Now, I have a ton of videos on this YouTube channel and I plan on making even more. Some of the past episodes I have here going into product research and how it is that I run my strategy. I go into the exact details of the eBay dropshipping strategy. We basically source products from AliExpress and resell them on eBay, and we don't hold any inventory. You can start for $0, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm doing a $0 into $1,000 challenge, and you guys can follow along on these episodes. I plan on releasing more all the way up until I make $1,000 from literally thin air. It's very interesting how I'm using a completely unconventional strategy. Nobody else is talking about this. Nobody else is doing this. You know, a majority of people are doing Shopify dropshipping, which I think is completely saturated. If you look into this episode right here, the truth behind Shopify, I kind of go into why I think Shopify is terrible, why Amazon doesn't work, and why eBay is superior. So it's very interesting. Definitely check that out. It's certainly my opinion, but I've proven it time and time again. I've been dropshipping on eBay for almost 8 years now, so I've got tons of experience and I've made tons of money from literally thin air, just providing products in one market and taking them from another market and adding an upcharge. It has generated tons of money, so it's certainly a strategy worth considering if you have time on your hands, if you're at home often and you have nothing better to do. Dropshipping on eBay is definitely underrated, and I think it's definitely one of the best ways to make money online right now. If you really get into it, if you take it serious, that's definitely the place I would start. All right, now that being said, once we've established a way to make money online, we need to now find a way to turn money into more money. We got to find a way to put that money to work. One of the best ways I've found to do that is with the stock market. Now, the stock market does take a very long time to learn the ins and outs of. However, you can 100% take advantage of the market and all it has to offer without having to spend hours and hours learning exactly what it is you're doing. Now, with a little bit of planning and a little bit of research, you guys can put your money to work. That's one of the best things about the stock market is it runs in the background for you. You don't need to make it complicated. You just need to put your money to work. Now, with a simple strategy, with a simple structure, you can easily put your money to work and then set it and forget it. Basically, buy a stock, forget about it, come back to it in 5 years. It will generate you money. Now, the number one thing that will be making us money with the stock market is what's called dividends. So a dividend payment essentially is a payment for your contribution to holding a company's shares. So a company will reward you for owning and holding onto their stock. So one example I can think of is Ford. So Ford pays dividends for every share of Ford that you hold. Basically, for every $10.88 that I pay for Ford right now, they will give me a 5.2% annual dividend yield, which comes out to about 15 cents per quarter per share, guaranteed. To put this in a simple mathematical equation, if you bought $10,000 worth of Ford at $10.88, that's 919 shares. Now, every share that you own, you'll receive a 15-cent reward every single quarter for owning these shares. That's $137 every 3 months, guaranteed. That's one of the most important things about dividend payments is that every single quarter they will 100% deposit it into your account. To the people that say the stock market is risky, they simply don't understand all of the different ways that you can generate income using the stock market. So essentially putting your money to work for a while, having it generate dividends. Not only will I own an asset, I will also own an asset that generates me money. If every single quarter I can count on $137 coming in, that's very exciting because that's passive income. Now, 137 divided by 90, that's an extra $1.50 a day just for buying 919 shares of Ford and holding on to it. If I hold that for the next 10 years, and I reinvest my $1.50 a day into Ford, it will continue to grow. Now, that's kind of where compounding interest comes in. So if we look up a compounding interest calculator here, initial deposit, we said 10 grand into Ford. Contribution amount is 137? And that's every quarter. We can't do it quarterly, but we can do 137 divided by 3. That's for the monthly. 137 divided by 3. So that's $45 a month. So $45 a month is our contribution. Let's say every month we reinvest that dividend payment. And let's do this for 10 years. And let's say the Ford stock doesn't move at all, so the rate of return is going to be nothing here, and compounding frequency is still monthly. In 10 years, you've turned 10 grand into 15 grand, literally doing nothing. And that's assuming Ford doesn't move at all. Assuming the average rate of return on the stock market, assuming Ford goes up 7% each year, you will have turned 10 grand into $27,000 by literally just setting it and forgetting it. So with the right principles applied to stock investing, if you're after dividends and dividend growth, you will turn a chunk of cash into a huge chunk of cash simply by putting it away and forgetting about it. That's making money work for you. That's putting money to work, leaving it in the background, and this happens over the next 10 years while you do all your other work, while you do all your other businesses, while you do all of your other investments. And not to mention, this is only contributing all the money that it's generating every single month. So $10,000 will make me an extra $45 a month guaranteed. That's a fact, given the dividend ratio here. This can actually go up as well. I've seen the dividend ratio at like 7% before. One of the cool things with dividends is, let's say we do $15,000 into Ford, and we divide it by 1086 because that's what it costs. We're going to get 1,381 shares times 15 cents. That's $207 every single 3 months guaranteed. Now, every 3 months, that's divided by 90. That's $2.30 a day for simply putting your money into Ford. That's it. For stashing 15 grand into something, you're going to make $2.30 a day. And now $2.30 a day doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it adds up very quickly. Especially over the next 10 years, it's going to add up an incredible amount. So that's just a quick lesson on dividends. That's one of the most important things to learn when it comes to the stock market. That's a guaranteed way to make money. And it's just a never-ending cycle of making more money. So properly stashing your cash is incredibly important when it comes to generating absolute wealth. So that was a quick lesson on dividends. Now, not every company gives dividends, but it's a very easy one Google search away. What company gives dividends? And then you just look up top 20 paying dividend stocks, and you can just get a ton right here. So ABR, they pay 11%, PMT, 11%. You can find all sorts of good dividend paying stocks. Buy something you believe in, buy something that you think will be around in 20 years, 30 years, and that's the best way to do it. Make that money work for you. You can put your money to work and it will work for you in the background. Put that money that you're not using to work. Money in a bank account is absolutely useless. You have to remember money is a tool and you have to learn how to use it as such. You cannot be scared to risk your money to make more money. You have to take the risks. If you don't take the risks, you will never be rewarded properly. So that's going to wrap up my lesson on the stock market. Very simple. This obviously gets way deeper and way more integrated than just dividend payments, but dividends are one of the main ways to put your money to work. That's true passive income. So that's going to lead me to my third and final way of making money online, and that's going to be with sports betting. Now, sports betting is highly lucrative, but it's also highly risky. Keep in mind, taking risk is definitely a requirement when it comes to generating wealth. Everybody that's ever made money has taken a lot of risk. So if you want to make some money, you need to take risk. Now, it's all about mitigating the risk in the highest probability manner that you can possibly do. Now, one of the best ways to mitigate your risk is by doing analysis. Proper analysis will always help you mitigate your risk. Now, to do great analysis, you have so many different tools at your disposal. It's actually incredible. First thing you can do is check out YouTube, right? YouTube goes into tons of different risk assessment, sport assessment videos. You can learn everything you need to on YouTube. You also have Google. You have your own research. So tons of different ways to do a great analysis. It really just boils down to how much work you put into it and where you source your information. There's lots of different ways to do so. Also, showing up is pretty much half of it, right? You have to show up. You have to participate. That's pretty much more than 50% of it. The next thing is a little bit of an element of luck. You can definitely turn a little money into a ton of money. So for this example, I'm going to be taking $10 and I'm going to be showing you guys how to invest it correctly into sports betting. We're going to do a $10 investment. And so here, we're going to go on the day. Today is December 3rd, okay? Tuesday, December 3rd. Now, what we're going to be betting on is the UFC 310. So now with the $10 investment, we're going to break it down into 50-cent parlays 20 times. So basically, I'm going to have 20 different lottery tickets. I call these lottery tickets. This is what it's going to look like. So we're going to go to BetMGM. I'm going to sign into BetMGM. So right now I've got $10 in my account. You can see here in the top right corner. And what I'm going to do is build parlays. So now comes the time for proper research. So we go into, I like the UFC stat tracker. We're going to go into that. Stats for the UFC. There we go. And then we have UFC 310 popping up right there. And we can see all the names that are going to be on the matchup here. Click view matchup, and then you can see who's against who is fighting who here. Basically going to go through and pick which one is the best and do your research as we come through here. Right away, I'm going to pick this one. Going down, we're going to pick Hooper. And I'm just going to go through and essentially conduct my research and build a lottery ticket on every fighter on this roster. I'm just going to go through and basically with my $10, I'm going to turn it into 20 different lottery tickets at 50 cents each. E. Anders going with B. Battle there. Russia for the win. This one's going to be a tough one. He took the fight last minute. This one's definitely a tough one. I might skip it, might come back to it. We'll maybe include it in a different ticket. I'm going to go with D. Reyes there. Going with Land on that one. Raknov, and then we're going to go with Asakura on the final there. So now you can see $10 pays out $2,000. If I do 50 cents, it'll return $100. So turning 50 cents into $100 is absolutely ridiculous. Now it gets even crazier. If I go down here and select this guy for say, it'll turn into $232 if I'm correct. If you pick someone like this, just going to continue to add value to these parlay sheets. So going through here, you do have to win all 14 fighters. You do have to select correctly, but we have 20 different chances to do so. So this is definitely an interesting strategy when it comes down to taking $10 and turning it into 20 different picks, 20 different lottery tickets. This is a crazy way to do that, and this is definitely a way to make a bunch of money very quickly with very little risk. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one. 50 cent to $232. There's our pick right there. And I still have $9.50 left. So I'm going to just continue to go through and build various parlays here. Just switch it up just a little bit. One slight difference per ticket that I pick. I'm going to go ahead and place that bet right there. And basically just continue to go through, continue to change it up just a little bit each and every single time. And basically you're seeing if you can get lucky, but we're backing it by research. Now, before I made this video, I've done 3 hours of research into who I'm picking. So I do have a good idea of who I want to go with, but it's also just a guessing game. I mean, anyone can knock anybody out in this roster. So it's tough to really narrow it down. So it's pretty easy to put together a set of parlays. So that's going to be what I'm doing here, just putting it together. And some of these payouts are just ridiculous. 50 cents into $775 right there. Going to go ahead and place that one here. There we go. You can keep placed bets in bet slip, and then what I can do is just change one variable. Right, come back down, drop 50 cents on it. This is going to turn 50 into 500, just like that. Keep bets placed, and then we can change one variable again and do something like this one right there. Change that one up right here. This is going to be 50 into 200. Less favorable, but definitely a higher probability of hitting. Always opportunity out there. You just have to go out there and look for it. 50 cents into over $1,000 pick with this setup right here, and then you just keep bets and slip, and then we just change one variable. So we just change that right there. And now we have 50 cents into $3,000. And then we change one more variable, 50 cents into $5,000. These are a little bit less likely to hit, but anything could happen in this. There it is. We're going to go ahead and close that. So that's how you invest $10 into 20 different bet lottery tickets, potentially turn 50 cents into thousands, literally thousands of dollars. That's going to be what I'm doing. I'm going to probably make an update video, especially if I hit one of these 50 cent parlays. It's going to be incredible. Stay tuned for one of those videos. Today is, once again, December 3rd. UFC 310 is 4 days out. Great way of investing a little bit of money and potentially turning it into a ton of money. And then you can kind of repeat with this cycle. You know, if one of these 50 cent parlays hits, I will very quickly invest into the stock market, and that's going to go into dividend payments, and that's going to pay me guaranteed over time. And you just can't lose with a cycle like that. So first thing we did was establish a online store on eBay, start making some money from there. We started making money and then invested it into the stock market. In the stock market, we buy dividend stocks, and dividend stocks pay guaranteed money every single quarter. That's going to put our money to work. And then while we do our regular work, that's going to just continue to run in the background. And now if you have a little bit of money left over, for this instance, we use $10, investing it into something like the UFC, 14 different parlays, doing research into that can be a great way to turn 50 cents into literally thousands of dollars. So those are going to be my top 3 ways of making money online right now. Definitely stay tuned. Definitely watch some of my older videos if you want to get into my strategies. I teach everything that I know on here. So be sure to check those out. Be sure to watch those videos. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.